Good morning. Today is April 27th, I think. Wait, I just looked. April 27th, Monday. Hold on. Yep, the 27th. It's Monday morning. I don't know, 4:30 or something. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I'm working on changing my relationship with food. So you guys know, if you've been watching, I bought this book, Forever Fit, and this is excellent for the physical side, like staying strong and healthy as you age. That's why I bought it. Because I'm entering a new phase in my life. As I've said before, I turned 51 last November, and I've never felt old in my life, but I don't mean just because of the number. I just mean it happened to be in the fall that I wasn't exercising much. My eating had gone out of whack again. Nothing too horrible, just I wasn't eating as clean, I should say. And I definitely ate more ultra processed food than I had in several years. And I just felt weak and old. And I don't know, it was kind of a wake-up call over the winter. So anyways, when I stumbled upon this a few weeks ago, the Forever Fit book by Maxim Secoin, he talks about, as you age, the important things to do, like weight training and some cardio stuff. So that was great for the physical side of it. But I also decided to get this other book. This one is by Kori McClurg. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way. And I really wanted these two books together because Get Out of Your Own Way is the psychology, like the mental mindset side of sustaining a healthy lifestyle. And I feel like that is what I need to work on. I think it takes a while for you to realize what your relationship with food is. And I say that because when I talk about how I interact with food, I've come to realize I think I'm maybe a binge eater. I don't know. I never really classified myself as anything, and I guess it's not that we have to, but I think it's helpful to understand your habits and why you do the things you do. So when I talk about food, I'm like, I either abstain or I binge, and there's no in between. And so I guess that's a binge eater. I don't know. But anyways, this has been very helpful. I'm maybe a third of the way through. I like how she writes. It's and Maxim's book as well. They write very easy to read and fun. Like she's pretty fun. Lots of pop culture references, and so great books. But I've come to ask myself a couple questions from her book in here. And, one of the things is, what's my relationship with food like? Is one thing I've been thinking a lot about. And I've come to realize that I think I have probably most of us do, so nothing new. I think I have kind of a warped relationship with food. I feel like there's so many times that I see it as my enemy, like something I'm just constantly trying to stay away from, constantly craving, obsessing over, and I'm just tired of that. Who can live? I mean, I've lived half of my life like that. So I realized that I want to view food as what it should be, is nourishment to sustain your body and to help you refuel. And I mean, that sounds so obvious, but that is not how I view food. And I don't think we as a culture, at least in America and the US here, view it. I think we view it as an escapism, a tool for escaping, comfort. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to grab a bag of chips and lay on the couch and binge watch a show over the weekend? And, and that's okay. It's just, it doesn't end with a whole bag of chips. It continues on. And I think that's where my problem is. And I've said this before, I do not like that feeling of out of control. I have no control. The food is controlling me. And here's the interesting thing. So I get, hypothetically, say I get a box of Oreos, or, a thing of Oreos, a bag of chips. I lay down on the couch, I turn on a show, I open the bag, I literally eat the whole entire thing, enjoying all of it. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I've tasted. I absolutely love how it tastes, and it satiates me. No, I shouldn't say that, because it obviously does not satiate me, but it does give me that dopamine kick that I'm looking for. It does relax me. But here's the thing, I can't stop. I keep going and going and going. Now, compare that to me making my from scratch, gluten-free, refined sugar-free. There is some dates in it. I make my own little Oreo cakes, and the way I make them is Jill from Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show turned me on to black cocoa powder, and black cocoa powder tastes like Oreos, you guys. You need to find it. I think I can only find it on Amazon or the internet. It's not local to where I am, but do yourself a favor, buy black cocoa powder. Look up Jill from Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. She has an Oreo cake, and I've taken that cake and turned it into, I pour the batter into small little cupcake trays, silicone. So when I'm done, I have these small little Oreo cakes, and you guys, they're amazing. It's now that if I eat that and my homemade potato chips, which you just slice on a mandolin some potatoes, soak them a little bit to get some of the starch off, dry them off. You can just cook them plain like that, or you can add nutritional yeast, spritz some Bragg's on it, garlic. I do chipotle on there, sriracha to make spicy chips. So making my homemade whole food based, meaning like not processed. I'm using the whole potato. I'm not putting salt on it. Not putting sugar, all of those things that are addicting. Eating that, I can stop at one Oreo cake. I eat it, it makes me happy, and I don't desire, or if I do desire, it's just a very light, like, ooh, I'd love to have another one, but it's not the same obsession. And same when I eat, I make homemade tortilla chips, obviously you buy corn tortillas, cut them. A lot of times I like to dip them in lime juice and maybe spritz a little Bragg's on there, but I dip them in lime juice, again, sriracha or garlic if you want it flavored. Yeah, and then just bake them. So there's so many little things you could do at home. When I eat that stuff, I have a small little bowl and I'm done. It doesn't latch onto me like the ultra processed store-bought stuff does. So that's telling me that, I mean, yes, it is me. I don't want to take, away, like I am responsible for myself and my actions, but at the same time, this is where I get a little conspiracy theorist. Like, these companies that make this food and these chips, they have to make it with lots of salt and sugar, or else we wouldn't eat it. I mean, have you ever bought unsalted potato chips? I have, because I don't like the salt. It's way too salty and gives me a headache. But in, you know, the general population, they don't choose the salt-free potato chips. Salt and sugar, refined sugar, makes it hyper palatable and extremely addictive. And that's why they do it, because we're going to keep buying it, and that's what it's ultimately always down to money, and it's annoying. So anyways, it was just, you know, I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm like, I can still have Oreo flavored stuff, and I can still have potato chips, and I can still have corn chips and stuff like that. It's just, I make it at home, and I am fortunate enough to be in a situation where I have the time to do that. So I totally sympathize and understand, because I have been there as well, where you've just been too busy to make the homemade stuff, because it takes time, you guys. I mean, I usually take a day, and I mean, it's not morning to night, but during the day I'm bulk baking and, you know, cooking and prepping for the week and stuff. So it takes time. But it kind of comes down to what Maxim said is, you know, it's commitment over motivation. I don't always feel like doing that, but I'm committed to doing that so that I don't stop at the store and buy the Oreos. I dig into my freezer and grab one of my Oreo cakes that I made. So, you know, that's something. That was a little tangent there, but yeah, it's just, you know, you gotta do some self-assessment. You need to look into why you do the things you do. Be completely honest with yourself, and you need to remove the shame and guilt and self-hatred and all of that. You need to remove it. You need to, like, just almost clinically take an assessment, you know, try not to have too much emotion behind it. So I have come to realize that I want food to be an ally. I don't want to keep fighting it. And I think I have transitioned to that. And so last time I lost the weight, I wasn't quite fully to where I am right now in the mind. I think maybe, I should say I still didn't quite have a healthy relationship with food. It was mostly me just resisting and feeling like you have to resist. You have to resist the craving. You have to, you know, you're sacrificing the sacrifices you made. But this time around, I'm like, you know what? I can have the food. I'm making a conscious choice to not have the food. And that's very different, because you're just making the choice not to. So the control is back in your hands. The other thing that Kori talks about in her book is, oh, I forgot what words she said. Hold on. Page 50. So I have a notebook that when I'm reading a book, especially something like this where it's not a novel, I always write down little snippets and page numbers, write down page numbers, because you always think you're going to remember and then you can never find it again. So there's something called unconscious competence, and she goes through what that is, but basically it's just unconscious knowing. You've dealt with your issues with food, you've discussed it, you've talked about it, you've explored it, you've journaled about it, you've worked through it, and now that you're on the other side, you can just go about your life and make these healthy decisions without even thinking about it. That's unconscious. You're not thinking about it. Competence. You know what you're doing. It's not a struggle anymore. And that's the goal, is to reach the place where I'm not fighting food anymore. I don't feel like I'm constantly battling my cravings, because that's not sustainable. So I have come to realize that I want food to be an ally. I'm sick of obsessing and fighting it. So I'm working through that. The other thing she talks about in the book, and this is also something if you look at, you know, Buddhism with meditation, or just meditation in general, is you are not your thoughts. So that was I've heard this so many times with doing meditation and studying it and all of that, but I have to hear things several times from several different people. And you are not your thoughts. So what that means to me in regard to food is when I have a craving, deep-seated craving, that is a separate thought from me. It's this. So if you guys have done meditation, it's very difficult to not think of anything. And that's not the point of meditation. The point of meditation is to just have a mindful moment and focus on your breathing and, you know, basically step outside of yourself for a moment. So we're taught in meditation to, a thought comes in, that's fine. Just observe it like a cloud going by and let it go. Another thought comes in, it's okay. It's separate from you. You're just observing it and let it go. Use that tactic with cravings. I am craving something for whatever reason. I saw a commercial. A lot of times it doesn't take much. I just see a commercial or read about it in a book and I'm craving it. It's separate from me. I do not have to latch onto it and I do not have to obsess over it because it's separate. I can simply just let it go. My thoughts are not me. I am not my thoughts. So that was helpful. So I've been doing a lot of work like that, really trying to figure out my relationship with food. Yeah, because I, you know, having lost the weight and then gained 20 pounds and now I'm working on losing the 20 pounds, I need it to be sustainable so that I don't spend the rest of my life fighting against myself, because you can't do that. It's just all going to come back. I think the other thing that is helpful this time around losing the weight is having lost the weight and then having gained it and felt old and, you know, flabby, I guess, and just gross and not strong. Just all of that stuff. Like, I know what put me back in that place. And not all of it was, you know, a lot of it was emotional and mental as well. But I guess basically I just learned a lot and now I understand more of, yeah, just kind of more how to be more consistent in my thinking. So anyways, I kind of wanted to share that. There's one other trick. There's one other trick that I learned the first time I lost the weight was someone on a podcast, and I can't remember who it was. They said if you're struggling to, you know, make a decision, like, am I going to eat the cake? You know, we're at a birthday party. Should I eat it? I'm not sure. I don't actually want it. I'm only doing it to fit in, you know, that type of thing. Think of your future self that has it all figured out, that it's very easy and comfortable. They're at that unconscious competent phase where it's just natural. What would that person do? And maybe that person would consciously make the decision to enjoy a small piece of cake and then move on. And that's fantastic. But think of your future self, the one that got it all figured out, the one that lost the weight, the one that's healthy. What decision would she or he make? That helped me a lot the first time around. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that. But yeah, so I'm really glad I found these new resources. I'm sure I'll be talking about this more. But yeah, I think fixing our relationship with food, I mean, we always have heard, you know, you eat to live, not live to eat. I think that's how it goes. But I don't know. Sometimes things just don't click with you, or I don't know. But anyway, so what these people are saying, how they're saying it, the questions they're asking, it seems to be pretty helpful this time. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. I will write the title of this book and Maxim's book in my description so that you know if you feel like checking them out. Yeah. All right, I guess that's it, guys. I got to get started with my day. I think I'm going to go juice. I need to juice. I like bringing that to the gym with me because sometimes I usually do yoga and then I do some weights, and in between yoga and weights I feel like I need a little refueling, so I like bringing my beet, carrot, ginger, turmeric, garlic. Is that about it? That might be my core, like some sort of greens. Sometimes I throw in like zucchini. I like cucumber, things like that. But anyways, okay, I gotta go do that and yeah, get my day started. Okay, guys, everyone have a good day. Stay healthy. Love yourself. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.